Hello. My camera is having some kind of mental breakdown. Look, I don't know what is up with it. I feel like, so I'm going to have to go with the inbuilt. Let me just wipe you. The inbuilt camera. Oh, I don't like it. Anyway, I'm here. Welcome to Brew At Two. I don't know what's wrong with my camera. I think it doesn't like being in here in the cold because it's quite chilly in here. Oh, it looks like my internet's low as well. Everything's going wrong. I have a week off and everything goes to pot. Just bear with me a second. Right, let me find the internet, plug it in. I'm still here. Hopefully that'll give me a bit of a boost. But yeah, my camera does not seem to want to work in here. As I say, it's a little bit chilly. But welcome back to Brew At Two. I am Nina, aka the Mum Edit Coach. Hello, there's two people watching. Let me put comments on. If you're watching, give me a hello. Let me know that you're there. Let me know who's watching. I'm Nina A. Spencer, aka the Mum Edit Coach. I am CEO of my business and my home. I am founder, leader, and mentor of the Mums in the Groove community, where this is being streamed, as well as on my YouTube channel and on my personal profile. So today I am back. This time last week, I was cheering on my fellow cohorts on the Be Inspired stage. I did my talk at 10:30 this time last week. It was amazing. It was scary, amazing, just a brilliant opportunity. I met so many new friends. We've connected and bonded since the event. It's like, I don't know, I can't describe how amazing it feels to when we arrived last Wednesday. Look at my hair. When we arrived last Wednesday, we met in a hotel foyer, and it was just like we'd known each other all of our lives. We laughed, we joked, we cried, we hugged, we just connected, just bonded together. So I've made such amazing friends through the mastermind that I cannot comprehend how more me I feel with them. So one friend in particular, Jules Kelly, she is on my wavelength. She talked about her talk was, I can't remember the title now, but she wrote a book. She's wrote a book. I met loads of authors. So this is Jules's book, The Fading Woman, and she talks about this in her talk and reclaiming your body, your purpose, and your joy. She is the life auditor, and she, just I can't tell you about everybody's talk because we'll be here all day. So there's Jules Kelly, Stephanie, who talked about the consent in the animal world. So she is the holistic dog groomer, and so there was a talk about that. Joe, who is campaigning to change the rights of entrepreneurs, mum entrepreneurs, who go off to have a baby, and you need to go and follow Jo, because her campaign is something that if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a mother, everybody needs to get on board with this campaign that Jo is fronting. I'll get them all to leave their links in the comments, or I'll send a link to the IATQB where you can hook up with all these people. And Alex, my dear friend Alex, who came on the show a few weeks ago live from Ali's abode. She is such an an amazing human being. We are like best friends now. She is so sweet. She is funny, kind, caring, amazing. There was a couple of us that like watched her talk, which was unscripted, unrehearsed, unplanned. She went out there and just spoke from her heart, and we described her as like a young Victoria Wood kind of person. Yeah, she's going to go on to do great things if she can harness that that power, that humor, that humility. Yeah, so Alex Gaywood, or Ali's Abode, if you want to go and follow her. Hopefully we've spoke since, and I think we can do something together, work together some way in the future. I'm not sure how or what or where, but we're going to speak to some of the people that were there and some of the people behind Be Inspired. Oh, this camera is awful. Some people behind Be Inspired, and see what they think we can come up with together, to, you know, to help change the world a little bit. But yeah, amazing. And then SJ, who challenged the way we perceive a powerful woman. As I say, there's loads of them, like Nikki and Charlotte, and just, yeah, all of them, just amazing human beings, amazing. So I feel so honored to have shared that stage with them, and now honored to call them all my friends. If I've put a link above, like wherever, in the title of this video. If you fancy going to rewatch any of the sessions, you can buy a ticket for on demand, Be Inspired on demand, so you can watch it like at any point, watch all of the talks at any point, watch the whole show from the comfort of your sofa or your desk or wherever. There's business development, personal development, raw life stories. Obviously I spoke as well. I spoke about the perks of imperfection and how we should embrace imperfect, especially in motherhood, because we can often create this perfect version of motherhood in our minds, and when it comes to reality, it's a completely different story. But yeah, it was a life-changing opportunity to be on that stage, to be like under the wings of the Queen Bee herself, Danny Wallace, and just the whole energy of the day, being out there back in real life with actual real people, was amazing. So that is why I've been a bit quiet like the past week or so, because in the run-up I was like rehearsing, and I'd got this talk in my head that I needed to get straight, and then obviously last week was major, leaving the house, you know, leaving the comfort of my village and my family, leaving like my kids at home and my husband, to go to that there Manchester, and meet these people that I'd never really met before. But yeah, it was just like meeting my best friends all over again. So what's happening now on the back of Be Inspired? This past week, I forgot to say, I also went to Blog On. I spoke at Blog On, which is a blogging conference that I've been attending for the past 5-6 years. It's one of the friendliest blogging conferences I've ever been to. And in the time that I've been going as a blogger, I've learned so much about, you know, the blogging world and like real life. I've met friends there too, but this time it was the day after Be Inspired, which in hindsight was probably not the best time. But I've rode the energy and the confidence that I'd built at Be Inspired and being on that stage into Blog On, and like the dynamics shifted a little bit. I felt more confident walking into the room. I felt more confident hosting a workshop. And people started coming to talk to me. So in the past, I've been the one that like sat in the corner and not spoke to anybody. And at this event, people, you know, grabbed my arm to come and speak to me. And it's just a shift of energy and confidence has happened through off the back of that Be Inspired talk and stepping on that stage and stepping over my comfort zone. So yeah, on the back of like this energy and this whirlwind of Be Inspired, it's like, what happens next? So everybody, well, not everybody, but some people are launching challenges or, you know, books or whatever off the back of like this platform that they've now found themselves in, you know. So people start following you more. Hello to anybody new watching Brew At Two. Yeah, people start to take note of you more when you've done something major like the Be Inspired talk, being on that Be Inspired stage. And so I've had a week of being in limbo land, not quite sure what I want to do, not quite sure where I'm heading. Obviously, I soft launched the beta of Grind to Groove after the summer holidays. But now I'm going to open it back up in the next 2 weeks. I'll put reminders. I'll put posts up both in the Mums in the Groove group and obviously on my Instagram feed and in my main profile. But I'm going to be reopening Grind to Groove, relaunching Grind to Groove as a go at your own pace program. So you'll just gain access to the whole program all in one go and work through the workbooks in your own time. I'll be there for like group coaching calls going through, but I'll talk more about it in the upcoming weeks to launch day. Obviously next week we're still at school next week, but then it's 2 weeks off for half term, 2 weeks off for half term. So after half term, when I come back after half term, that is when I'm going to relaunch Grind to Groove in go at your own pace, rolling enrollment package. I've come back. I've got a bit of sore throat. I've done the tests. I've not got COVID. Drinking some matcha tea to try and soothe my throat. So what else is exciting? What other exciting things? We've also next week got a podcast. So I've been going on about starting a podcast for years, since I started listening to podcasts, and thought they're a great way to consume information, especially when you're busy. You can jump in the car and listen to a podcast while you're doing the ironing, listen to a podcast, whether they're entertainment podcasts or a podcast with like development kind of, you know, business or personal development kind of message. But I found them a great way to like consume information, as I said. So the podcast is launching next Friday. Hang on, let me check the date. Ooh, what date is it today? It is the 8th. So the 15th, Friday the 15th, in the morning, I'll be launching the Wabi-Sabi Brew podcast. Because, so Wabi-Sabi, it tells you in the title, in the trailer of the podcast, but Wabi-Sabi is something that I spoke about in my talk, because it ties hand in hand with imperfection. So Wabi-Sabi is, I've got a little poster there in the background. It's it's a Japanese concept about accepting life, you know, imperfections in life, embracing them as beautiful, and going with the flow of life. And that's what I want the podcast to be all about, is embracing imperfect, like the imperfect camera that I've got today. So embracing imperfections, especially around motherhood, And obviously, it's got brew at the end because we all know I love a cuppa by now, hence Brew At Two. So that's the podcast on Friday the 15th. And then hopefully next week, on next week's Brew At Two, I'm still waiting for confirmation. However, I should be talking to the amazing dad advocate for men's equal parenting, dad's mental health, that kind of thing. His Instagram title is Equal Parenting, Dad's Mental Health, and Redefining Masculinity, helping companies be family friendly. He wrote this guy is Elliott Ray, and I met him at a conference a couple of weeks ago online about parenting, and he was talking about racial equality and like just the mental health of dads, because it's often forgotten about. Male mental health is a touchy subject for some, and he's wrote a book called The Dad Book. Hang on, let me find a picture. So he's wrote this, The Dad Book, and hopefully he's a very busy guy. He is doing lots of filming at the moment. He's talking on the BBC. He is championing his own mission, and so hopefully, fingers crossed, he's coming back to me shortly with if he's going to be free in between filming slots to come and talk on Brew At Two about his mission and to tell you more about him and where he came from and why he is now championing men's mental health. So that's Elliott Ray. And again, I'll put if he comes back and he's able to do the show, I'll be putting graphics out and announcing him coming on the show. But that's a really exciting thing, really exciting somebody to get to talk to be in conversation with. What else? So the past few weeks, months, I can't even remember when we started. We have been busy here in this headquarters, creating some office space because my husband now works from home. He used to go to London every day from Nottinghamshire on the train, and now he's working from home. So we're creating some office space because we've got a little barn on our property. But within the office space, we're going to be creating some workshop space, a workshop that we can hire out for, local workshops to come and like put on a workshop, sewing or art or whatever. But I want to use the space for doing something along the lines of like creating for mental health purposes. When I was volunteering in Sure Start, I ran a course, facilitated in fact, I had a lot to do with the planning actually of this, like based on art therapy, but not art therapy because I'm not a therapist, and the children's worker that I ran it with was not a therapist either. But it's along the lines of art therapy. So we called it creative mindfulness, I think, or art and heart. I can't remember. But I want to try and do something along the similar lines. When we get a little bit more finished up there, because it's like up above me, I'm going to like do some videos, do some lives, or chuck on some on Instagram, like work in progress of the barn and the workshop space. But I'm really excited to share it with everybody and to be able to share it with local community, to come and use it for whatever they feel they want to use it for. But again, I'll be talking about that in more detail. And then so that I can So a while back, Jojo Smith of Creative Sass got me on the Be Inspired cohort. She got me hooked on Danny Wallace and Be Inspired, and she is now working with what is her name? She's now working together with my mind has gone. Rosie Wood of Rosie Wood Branding, and they've created a podcast which is Rhubarb and Custard, and they've also created a retreat in November which is going to work on business strategy, development, branding, all of that kind of thing, which I'm heading on to in November. So whilst I've got a few exciting things coming up in the next few weeks, like the podcast and reopening Grind to Groove, I'm hoping that this retreat can elevate the business, elevate my message, my mission even more, and to help even more people. So yes, lots of exciting things coming up in the next month or so. But keep an eye out in the week for details of the guest that's coming next Friday, because I think if he manages to get that time, it's going to be a big message that he's got to share. And I want as many people to listen as I can. So that is me for today. I'm signing off now. My throat is sore. I'm losing my voice. And yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I will see you next week, regardless of whether Elliott gets on or not. In the meantime, take care. Have a nice weekend. And I'll see you next week.